撮ってる撮ってる。後でカットしてね。
Just to see who was listening in the last video, what kind of monocle is this, and what nickname does it also have? Put it in the comments below. Now, would you believe me if I told you that there was a misconception about Victorian and Edwardian menswear? Of course you would. So we're all used to seeing images of Edwardian men and Victorian men wearing these dark woolen suits, frock coats, morning coats, tweed sporting jackets, all very thick clothing, stuffy, tight clothing that's very thick and very warm, which is great. They're wonderful suits, except when it's summer and it's super hot, or you live in a tropical country. And you'd be surprised how breathable these suits are. The wools, cottons, linens, and silks that make up the suits, they're really breathable fabrics, so you feel great. Except in the horrible humid heat. And it was too much for the Edwardians and the Victorians, and, as it would be for any modern person today. So what did they wear in the summer if not these thick woolen suits of armour? Let's find out. Okay, now with any clothing, fashion, tailoring, whatever, there are of course many different variations throughout the long Victorian period or the shorter Edwardian period. There are so many different types of suits and cuts and drapes and styles that I can't possibly cover them all, and I can't represent them all in this video. But I thought today that rather than analysing various pictures that you could easily find online yourself, it would be nice to show you an excellent garment that I actually have in my collection, show you how it looks, how to wear it, and go through all the different components of the suit. These early summer suits are often made of cotton and linen, which means that they get damaged very easily. They wear through, they're usually unlined, unstructured, and then they get stained or they get worn out, then they get used for something else, like work, or they get repurposed as a rag or something like that. So they're actually quite difficult to get a hold of, and most people turn to reproductions. I did have a pair of linen trousers in my collection, which I was very lucky to find, but somehow I managed to get hold of a two-piece white cotton suit from the 1900s. And it wasn't perfect. I had a lot of work to do, and so there are a few alterations, there are a few things that have been sort of covered and repaired. So I'll definitely make sure to tell you which parts have been patched or repaired for historical accuracy. This is a 1900s summer sack suit. It essentially follows the exact same cut as other sack suits from the era, except that it is unlined and made of cotton. When it came to me, it was dirty, there were holes, weak spots, the cuffs on the sleeves were all frayed, the seams were falling apart, the whole collar was frayed. So I have done a fair bit of repair work to this that I'll take you through now. So the collar was horribly frayed, so I took some cotton binding and attached it to the outer edge to give it a clean look, and also prevent further fraying. The seam down the back of the jacket was also horribly frayed and falling apart, and so again, I took some binding and sewed it along that seam to secure the back in place and prevent further damage. There are a few bits of darning here and there, but honestly they're not that visible. With the trousers, it was mainly staining that had to be removed. I also needed a metal buckle that buttons onto the cinch belt at the back of the trousers. Because this is a cotton garment, it would have needed regular washing and then would be mangled, and so buckles had to be removed for proper cleaning to take place, which obviously meant that this one was lost. Luckily, I found one in a charity shop in Canterbury when I was living in England. You can see that some of the original bone buttons from the trousers have been replaced over time, so they have a mix of buttons now. The jacket, on the other hand, appears to have retained all of the 3 original buttons, which are in a spectacular and rather summery beach-themed, raw-looking mother of pearl, each one of them unique. Now, I am quite short and these trousers were far too long for me, so I have taken them up, but not fully. I've just tacked the trousers up, just on the inside seams and nothing more, so that they can be let back out again. A point of interest for these particular trousers is that they're actually considerably low-waisted for the time period. This is likely to keep the wearer cooler, but it is interesting. By comparison, this pair of linen trousers from the same era still maintains its high waist, so it seems that lowering the waistline was acceptable. Okay, so that's the main part done, but what about the shirt? Now, as far as I can tell from the various photographs I've seen from the era, men essentially wear the same shirts they've been wearing all year round, cotton shirts and starched collars and cuffs. Of course you could wear a detachable bib without a shirt as shown in my first video, and as I live in Japan that would be a good option for contending with the humidity, but today I've chosen to go with the full shirt, collars and cuffs. I think this cream shirt will go nicely with the white suit, and for collars, to keep it cool, I'm going to go with a short one. Let's move on to the waistcoat. I have a very nice cream cotton waistcoat with beautiful yellow embroidery from the 1890s. You can tell this by the high neckline and the straight cut bottom, but this style was popular for quite some time, so it's hard to pinpoint when exactly it was made. The buttons are a white plastic on metal. I'm not sure if they're original, so that will require more research if I intend to replace them with period accurate buttons. Whilst this was made a decade before the suit, I see no reason why you couldn't combine it with a 1900 suit, considering that the style was still popular. For neckwear, I'd rather use a clip-on, or tech tie as they were called, because it means less layers around my neck. Now I could wear a long flowing necktie to flap in the breeze, and these were worn without waistcoats regularly, but I think my outfit will work better with a nice bow tie. So I'll be using this lovely brown silk bow tie made by my friend Michiel de Baudemacher. I'll put a link down to his Instagram below where you can ask for your own commissions. To top it off, we'll swap out the fur, felt and wool hats for nice breezy summer hats. You can get linen and cotton flat caps, but we'll go for the more stylish and incredibly popular hat at the time, the straw boater hat. Now all I need to do is wear it. Okay, I don't know if you can hear me over the sound of the rushing water on the waterfall here, but this was the first outing of my 1900 suit that I spent quite some time restoring and bleaching and repairing, so I'm glad that it lasted this long. I'm not too sure how long it's going to actually last for because it's quite weak and there are still some really weak seams, but I'm glad that I got to at least take it out and kind of show you what it looks like, what an Edwardian suit looks like in the summer. It's not actually summer, it's spring at the minute. So it'll get a lot hotter when it becomes summer in Japan. It'll be horribly humid, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to wear this kind of, I'm wearing about 4 layers, but maybe I will, and I'll give it a go because today was really hot, but it wasn't as hot as, say, if I was wearing like a polyester t-shirt or something. So even though I have 4 layers, it breathes pretty well.
and it feels pretty breezy and nice. So, yeah. Oh, we came to a kind of like a national park. There's not many people. It's lots of open air. So, we've also been wearing masks. So we've been being safe and social distancing. But I kind of wanted to show you what these suits look like in a nice summery setting, like a natural vibe rather than in the city. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and stay safe and don't get the coronavirus, please.